who goes up in trip today.
Yeah, best performance of a 5-race career came at Hamilton last time out. That was over a mile off a mark of 60. She's off 64 today. She was one of the unexposed 3-year-olds in that race and dictated what was a modest gallop and found plenty when challenged. Although she disappointed on her debut, the yard's horses were coming on from the run and certainly did there. Should appreciate stepping up in trip again on pedigree. I think Thumama could well dictate from the front here.
She's about to head out onto the track. She'll be followed by Uncle Bernie. Lady of You will be the last, and we'll catch up with them out on the course.
Update on the betting, which you can just about make out on the boards in the background. Echo Bravo is 11-4. Whitefall has continued to shorten a little, now 100-30. It's 7-2 Thumama. Continental Divide 13-2. 8-1 Lady of You. 12 Uncle Bernie. Silver Fawn is 25-1, and Elvin remains at 33-1.
Runners assembling at the start at the bottom of their hill. We haven't talked about Whitefall, the Street Cry filly of David Evans is yet, Andy. Andrea Atzani aboard. A case of steady improvement, really, for this filly, and she recorded a personal best from out of the weights 2 starts ago at Salisbury, and then improved upon that again behind Afro at Lingfield last time.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those steady progressions, and I certainly think if it's not today she'll win a handicap. You certainly think she's certainly capable of winning a handicap. All the runs have come this year. Didn't run as a juvenile, and since she's gone into handicaps over 12 and 11 furlongs, that fourth you referred to, the Getaway Car was a pretty decent effort. The second ran at Beverley this week and ran a decent race there. And then there was a slight improvement on that run when second of 10 to Afro last time out. It was a very, very game effort because she was headed right on the post. I remember her trading particularly short in running. I think it was a sort of 103 job on that race, and she can certainly win handicaps. I just wondered whether the other two, whether certainly Thumama might just have a little bit more progression here, and at the prices I preferred her. I am surprised to see Echo Brava as favourite, given those stamina doubts that I have. Probably everybody else doesn't.
Okay, well you were right with By Art a little earlier in the afternoon. Close but no cigar with Muthmere in the first. Exactamore was the each-way alternative to Winning Express in the previous race.
Unfortunately, was the one in the sprint handicap.
Well, you know, these things happen. Yeah. So, where does the selection lie here, then?
I think I've nailed my colours to the mast on Thumama, because I think she'll get, hopefully, Callan will get her out in front and get the run of the race here, which, as we've seen, there's a continuing theme and thread through the afternoon, is the place to be here. Whitefall, I can see pushing her. I couldn't see Echo Brava being ridden that forward, given his stamina doubts. It was,
another step up in trip.
It was weakened out of it last time out. It may well just be an experiment, but at 5-2, he'd certainly be at that price one. If you are in the ilk of laying horses, that would be the one I would be taking on at that price.
Okay. I suppose with him, it comes down to how Richard Hughes views the race is likely to pan out, because you can hold a horse up from the front just as well as you can from last place. As long as you're not harried for the lead, then they cover the same distance, whether in front or behind.
It's all about, as several people, more learned people than I, it's how you use the horse's energy to its best potential over the trip, isn't it? That's how he's doing it, and that's how Richard will use it on this occasion. I don't think he'll be too far back, but he does have that slight question mark about the stamina here.
Loading up pretty swiftly for this Consumer Credit handicap. Consumer Credit has been in short supply in recent years. What has not been in short supply is rain, and it continues to fall with a degree of force. Warwick, there are 2 more left to load, so let's return to the commentary box and rejoin Martin.
Thanks, Stuart. Uncle Bernie and Continental Divide to come. One more now. Continental Divide and Fergus Sweeney. The gates are filled, and they're off. They race just short of a mile in 3 furlongs for the Consumer Credit Handicap Stakes, and Thumama's partner Neil Callan is keen to get to the front, heading Continental Divide before they'd gone 50 yards or so. and races down the hill after 150 yards with a length advantage. Continental Divide giving chase. The others are declining the gallop, set by the front two. There's already 5 or 6 lengths back to Whitefall in pink and black, who leads the main body of runners. Elvin in black and yellow runs the outside. Uncle Bernie is a grey in a red jacket, racing in advance of Lady of View. Silver Fawn is settled 1 from last, and Richard Hughes has dropped Echo Bravo right out at the back of the field. They've swung left-handed to race down the far side. They are approaching the final 7 furlongs. Thumama leading Continental Divide by just over a length. And then not so far back to Elvin, who's bridging the gap between the two groups. That's now raced up into 3rd position in advance of Whitefall, Uncle Bernie and Lady of View. And Echo Brava has relegated Silver Fawn to be the back marker. They're 6 furlongs from home, midway down the back straight. Thumama by 3 parts of a length. Continental Divide in a white jacket, black cap runs 2nd. Then just a couple of lengths to Elvin, who's 3rd on the outside of Whitefall. Echo Brava's making headway on the inside of Uncle Bernie, with Silver Fawn between runners, and Lady of View has dropped to the rear of the field as they enter the last half mile. Not much between the front two. Thumama joined on the outside by Continental Divide. Whitefall now moving into 3rd in front of Elvin, who begins to come off the bridle. Echo Brava shaken up, passing the 3 on the inside of Uncle Bernie, Lady of View and Silver Fawn are the last 2 as the race develops in earnest. Off the home turn, 2.5 furlongs to go. Thumama has seen off Continental Divide. Whitefall now chasing the leader. Echo Brava trying to make ground. Uncle Bernie denied a clear run under the stands rails. Has to switch. They're approaching the final furlong with Thumama in front of Whitefall. Uncle Bernie, Echo Brava finding the 1 pace back in 4th as they race well inside the final furlong. Whitefall coming through under the stands rails to press Thumama and Whitefall. It's tight between the two. Thumama and Whitefall finishing clear of Uncle Bernie and Echo Brava, and those in turn are clear of a never nearer Lady of View, who ran 5th.
Judge David Hicks has called for a photo to determine the outcome between Thumama and Whitefall on the near side. They're quite tight between the two in the end. There were plaintive cries of kick from the gentleman standing next to me when they swung on in. I resisted the temptation because I suspected that he wasn't talking to me, and I think I was right. I think they were plaintive cries to Neil Callan. Here it comes.
First, number 3,
Thumama has obliged. Those cries of kick were just about right. It's exactly what Callan did. And despite the fact that Whitefall got the rail, Thumama was pretty game and she kept pulling out extra.
And she did the same at Hamilton last time out, and I watched that race back a couple of times last night, well, actually more than a couple of times, and I was just impressed with her attitude, and that's come to the fore again here. That's horses of this ability, and we're only talking about horses rated sort of 50s, 60s here, and sometimes it's not about ability or what ability they do have, it's their attitude, and that's the attitude that I liked here. And you'd have to say the front two are both shown an awful lot of attitude here, and Whitefall will win a race very, very shortly. Although you just wonder if she might just keep getting nudged up and getting nutted by something like this. I hope it doesn't, because I do like her as a horse as well. Again, we've seen it was the way the race is run. We just look at the head-on here.
Was there much room at the end for that, Zany?
There was enough room, wasn't there, to get through. I think if Whitefall had been quite good enough, you can't fault the attitude of either of them. They have come quite close together.
Bit of contact.
Are we going to get the bing bong, do you think?
I don't know. Well, stranger things have happened. Yep, there we go. That was no great surprise, was it? Stewart's inquiry. Yeah, no real surprise there. What's your gut feeling?